and welcome to Book Days.
The book of the day is Curious George Goes to a Chocolate Factory by Margaret and H.A. In this book, George and his friend, the man in the yellow hat, are on a drive when they see a chocolate factory and decide to stop in for some delicious treats. Well, they soon find themselves on a factory tour. And on the tour, George gets curious how those chocolates are made. Well, he soon wanders off and finds himself in a very chocolate adventure. To read this whole book, find it in your local bookstore or library today. And now, it's time for our adventure. We're off to Hico, Texas to find some delicious chocolates of our own. I'm so excited. Let's go. I am so excited to be here at the Wiseman House Chocolate Studio with Chocolatier Kevin Wenzel. Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you so much for coming today. We're glad to have you.
I am so excited to trek into the Texas countryside to this gem. And I hope you're hungry because we're going to be learning all about chocolate. Curious George goes to the chocolate factory, and I couldn't think of a better place to bring this book to life. So Kevin, I will leave it to you to give us a grand tour of this amazing chocolate studio.
Thank you so much. We have before you some almond toffee. We make a lot of product here. Almond toffee, chocolate, truffles, caramels, marshmallows. And I'm going to give you a tour of some things that you might see in the Curious George book and in our chocolate studio here in Hico.
I am hungry already. So, Kevin, I see that you have some awesome, is it cocoa beans?
That's right. So this is actually a cocoa pod. And the cocoa pod this is brown. It's just a dried cocoa pod. Mm-hmm. But naturally they come yellow, orange, green, purplish. It depends on the variety. Just like flowers have different colors, cocoa pods have different colors too. So this is dry and they're all brown, but inside are dried beans in this dried pod. Naturally, there's fruit around every seed. Just like in an apricot or a peach, they have a seed in the center. Well, the cocoa pod, if we cut it in half or open it up, it's going to have fruit inside, white fruit, and that's pulled out and dried, and the fruit is pulled away. Wow. And what you're left with are seeds. Now these seeds are cocoa seeds or cocoa beans. Just like you eat pinto beans, or garbanzo beans, those are actually all seeds. And peanut is a seed. Yes. And we take peanuts and grind it up and make peanut butter. Well, here, these cocoa beans are ground up and made into chocolate. Now, not all chocolate has to have sugar, just like some peanut butter doesn't have sugar.
Right.
So the cocoa beans are chopped up, made and ground into chocolate. And then we do is take that chocolate and make treats out of it, or candies or confections. And here's a few of the confections. Some of the confections, like in the book, Curious George Goes to Chocolate Factory, has designs. So this one right here has orange, and we make a round shape like an O for orange, or the shape of the orange. This is 70%. It's very, very dark and precious. So I put precious silver on top. That's real sterling silver. Wow. Mixed up with a little vodka to make a paint. And then we put a dot on there. This is has cinnamon sugar on the outside and coffee in the center. My wife loves coffee, and so we made this as a memory to, and I made it for her really to eat and enjoy. So coffee inside, and the cinnamon sugar is because she made me snickerdoodle cookies. The Wild Woman is named after a pioneer woman. A wild woman has lots of long strands of chocolate, like long black hair. The raspberry has gold on top. The amaretto has a little white dot because it's white chocolate in the center. And the amaretto is an almond flavor. We have sprinkles of pecans on top of the Texas pecan. It's like a pecan pie. And then the one in the top left is the love potion, and it has special South American spices in it, and has a little gold brush stroke on top, like we wear gold wedding rings. So the love potion.
Wow.
And there are other flavors that we don't have on the plate that we do that have different designs and different flavors. So when you look at it, if you have a favorite, you remember what that looks like, and you can buy it again.
Fantastic. And so in the book, it talks about the different shapes you can distinguish. And so just like you mentioned, you can distinguish pretty easily which ones they are by the shape and the markings on top.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So each chocolate has a unique shape and a unique flavor and unique design on top. You guys.
Is a lot of chocolate.
It's a lot of chocolate.
So Kevin, can you describe the difference between making chocolate and being a chocolatier?
Absolutely. So I am a chocolatier, and my friend Troy is a chocolate maker. So Troy takes cocoa beans, brings them in from the country, grinds the cocoa beans, and makes chocolate. And what I do as a chocolatier is I take chocolate that Troy has made or chocolate that Adolfo has made. Yeah. In this instance is chocolate from Venezuela. And we take this and we make truffles and things with it. So I'm a chocolatier and a confectioner, whereas Adolfo and Troy are chocolate makers.
That is really interesting. I've always kind of merged the two in my mind, and they're two separate things.
That's right. So just as a baker may not grow his own wheat, sift it and grind it and sift it, he does take wheat someone else has grown in the form of flour, and he takes that wheat flour and makes cookies or baked items like bread, birthday cakes and things like that.
Sure.
So I'm taking chocolate someone else has made, and I make treats or confections out of that chocolate.
And you mentioned this is chocolate from Venezuela. Where do you source all of your chocolate?
So this chocolate's from Venezuela. I get chocolate from Madagascar, chocolate from Mexico, and other South American countries, but also those cocoa beans are moved from those countries to European countries like Spain, Belgium, Switzerland, and they take those beans and they prepare them and then make chocolate out of it, and then they bring it to me.
Back.
I have a lot of chocolate from Italy, so the Italians will source chocolate from South American countries, African countries, and other countries that produce cocoa beans, and they buy those cocoa beans and make chocolate out of it, and then they send it to me, and I make chocolate treats.
I never really knew how intricate it is. Like the cocoa bean is grown on one side of the world, it goes to another side to make the chocolate, and then comes back like to America to go into treats.
That's right, and sometimes that's all about shipping. So we in America, we often use South American beans, and in Europe, they often use African beans because it's closer. Europe is closer to Africa, and so that's why they often use. In Italy, they use a lot of beans from
Africa?
From Africa. Yeah.
Wow.
Uganda, especially because the beans are so good from Uganda.
Who knew?
Yeah, the country of gorillas also makes great cocoa beans. just like in Curious George's book, where Curious George is playing with the chocolate and the chocolate coming out of the tunnel, this is our tunnel. So this is our chocolate machine from Italy, and we're going to set this up for you so you can see chocolate going through the machine and then going through the tunnel. The chocolate on the tunnel, and the tunnel has to be cooled. So we're putting hot chocolate over it, and it's not very hot. Can I shake your hand? So just like shaking somebody's hand, the warmth of our hand is the same temperature that chocolate has to be melted at, 98.6.
I thought it would have been hotter.
No.
Oh.
Chocolate does not need to be very hot. It just needs to be melting. So do you ever take M&Ms and they melt in your hand? Right. They melt in your mouth. Well, cocoa butter melts at body temperature, 98.6. That's healthy body temperature.
Yeah.
Now, if you drink hot tea or hot water, hot coffee, that's chocolate's going to melt in your hand faster. The worst you can do is drink it with soda, because chocolate with soda, it makes your tongue cold, makes your mouth cold, and you can't taste really good chocolate.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so chocolate is melted, and we're going to show you chocolate melted over the chocolate truffle in the center, and then it's going to go down the conveyor belt and into the tunnel. And the tunnel is going to have cold air flowing over those chocolates. And the chocolate's going to set up. Now, the chocolate is warm, but it's actually tempered. That means I've heated and cooled and heated the chocolate at a perfect temperature so it comes out nice and glossy and snappy. So when you eat a chocolate, it should have a little snap to it if it's a good chocolate.
And what is the difference between Wiseman House chocolates and basically
Anybody
any other?
else's?
Yeah, anybody else.
Great question. So what makes us different is fresh. So other big corporations make their chocolate in October and sell it for Valentine's Day. I will make it the week before Valentine's Day. Me, and I have 6 great chocolatiers with me that help me make chocolates and package it. So we're a very small company, but because of that, we can make really nice product, fresh, and deliver it to our store so that somebody can enjoy a little bit of chocolate.
And do you make all of your recipes here?
I do. They're
Wiseman
all
House?
original, and so some recipes come to me in a dream. Sometimes I want to impress somebody like my wife, so I make her a special coffee chocolate with cinnamon and sugar on the outside.
Yeah.
Or I think about, like, this one chocolate from Madagascar is very fruity. And so, that's so good by itself. So I made some chocolate by itself, and I thought, well, what if I added a raspberry to it? Because it already tastes a little raspberry, a little fruity. So I add raspberry to that and really made a delicious raspberry chocolate. Now, I am funny about my chocolate. I want the fruit and the chocolate to play together like a good team or a good marriage. One should not overwhelm the other. And so, so if the chocolate's going to play together, then I want you to taste the raspberry and the chocolate, not overwhelm one over the other.
No doubt. The fruity chocolates or truffles or anything like that are always my favorite, especially the raspberry.
Raspberry's so good.
What is your favorite chocolate?
I love the orange.
Yeah. The orange?
My dad and I both like the orange. And so I have a little design on the top that has the O for the orange. And has and the design is made with dark chocolate, so it reminds me the inside is dark chocolate.
Shall we show our viewers a taste test?
Absolutely.
Of what those chocolates look like?
Try that?
Yeah.
You bet.
Absolutely. So I'm so excited for the taste test, Kevin.
So we got a taste test of the Seville orange, one of my favorites. So if you're going to take one.
Thank you.
And one way that I like to encourage our customers, our guests, to try this is when you have a chocolate, have a small bite, check the aroma, notice the snap in the chocolate, and take your time enjoying it. And you should see your teeth marks. There's my teeth marks. And just take your time because there's a lot of flavors in this. So a good chocolate should have a lot of flavor. It shouldn't be about sugar. It should be about flavor.
That's a good point. I feel like people compute sugar and chocolate, but it's so much more than that.
It is.
Those hints of orange are like first notes. And then that creamy chocolate in the middle combined with the hard outer shell. Just truly
I'm really enjoying this.
Delicious.
I don't actually get to stop and eat my chocolates very often.
Really?
I do. I just stay busy. And also, if I stopped and ate them all the time, I think I would be as big as a house. And so I have to remember self-control or self-regulating, because my life can't be about eating chocolate. It's really about making good chocolate for other people. So
I love that. And piggybacking off that, how did you become a chocolatier?
well, I was in love with a girl, and I needed a profession. I was selling art in Dallas, or you could say the big city. I was selling art in the big city, and I wanted to live in the country, and I was coming to the country farm every weekend, and so I really, even though the city had a lot to offer, I really enjoyed being in the country, in a small town.
For sure.
People ask me, why do you have this wonderful chocolate in the small town?
Right.
That's just where family is. That's where my family is. That's where I want to live. And we made it happen. People really, really love our chocolate. So they don't mind driving out of the way to come see us. And because that's important to me, I want to honor my guests with really good chocolate.
I love that it's really off the beaten path.
Some people call us a hidden treasure.
Yes.
Our whole town, I think, is a hidden treasure. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today, Kevin. This has been such a joy to be here at the Wiseman House Chocolate Studio in Hico, Texas. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any more of our upcoming adventures, and we'll see you soon. Bye.
Thank you.
Want more book days? Well, the adventure has only begun. Check out these episodes and be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our upcoming adventures.